Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Just checking in with y'all once again. For those of y'all who are just tuning in for the first time, this is the first time you've seen one of these videos. My name is Ray Destin Jr. I'm the founder and CEO of BOBM Publishing, LLC. We have launched over 265 authors to Amazon #1 bestsellers. Here's the kicker. This weekend, we actually had an amazing time. My cousin and his daughter, so father-daughter combination, we launched both of those books to Amazon #1 bestseller. So congratulations, salute out there to Robert and Taylor Destin. You get a chance, make sure you go to Amazon and pick up that ebook. Physical books are on the way soon. But for those of you who are just tuning in, if you're just tuning in, as you know, each day I try to go live every day. I take the weekends off a little bit, just getting some things in order. But I got a tip for you, because most people think that their book is just that. It's just this singular project, and it's just them, and they're the only ones who can do anything for their project. That's not the case. What it actually is you have to have a team. So that's what we're talking about today: how to build your team, because that book, if it's done properly, can go on to become a living, breathing business. Some examples of that, if you notice, Russell Brunson has a 3-4 book series now talking about funnels. That's what he uses to get people into his long-term business, ClickFunnels, which is now a multi-million-dollar, close to billion-dollar business. Stephen Covey has a team around it, which is why it's called Covey International. There's the Franklin Covey Planner. There is the Covey books. There are so many things that can come from doing it properly. So I want to talk to y'all today just about that. How do you build your team, and what do you need for your team? So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this one top, and then come all the way back down. So when I say top and come back down, I'm going to give you what you need, and then I'm going to break each part of it down for you. That's the coach in me that kicks in, right? So first thing you need on your team is the people that put the book interior, exterior all together, right? And that is your editor, your graphic designer or cover designer. That's going to be the person who does the formatting, and that's the book in general. Outside of the book, when you start building your business, you're going to need someone for marketing, someone for sales, someone for the pre-launch. And then there's two other things, or not two other things. There's two things that come along with it, which is your accountability partner. You need somebody to keep you accountable to this, because it's not going to be an easy journey at all. So you need somebody to keep you accountable and somebody to encourage you, because during this process, trust me, you're gonna have those blood, sweat, and tears moments, and this is what it's all about. And then the last thing you're gonna need is your reviews. So let's go back and talk about each one of these individually, because as a publisher, obviously I have each one of these on my team, but how do you put it together for yourself? The editor. As an editor, their job is to make sure that your writing is succinct, that it is relatable, that the people who are reading it, the message is conveyed in such a way that it's conveyed in such a way that it touches their heart, it increases their mind, increases their reach, and you now have something that you can, or they can walk away with the information, but it has to be relatable to your specific reader. So there's a few things that go into that. Your voice as an author, a lot of editors will, and I've heard these horror stories. People have come to us and said, I work with such and such editor, no names given, and they tried to take all of this out of my book, but that's the way that I talk. How can they take my voice out of the book? Obviously, that's a no-go. So make sure that editor can connect with your voice. They also need to be able to check for grammar, punctuation, spelling, sentence structure. Those are things that a good editor will do. We've taken some of the projects that we've had, and when I tell you they were there were great stories, not necessarily well conveyed in terms of the message. And so since they have not had that message done properly, our editors had to go in and kind of do some what we call developmental editing, restructuring a few things while still keeping their voice, but taking their writing to a new level. Most people think you have to be a great writer. Not necessarily the case. As long as you have great editors on your team, they can take your writing at its basic level and take it to the highest level possible. So, saying all that to say, just because your cousin won a spelling bee in 3rd grade does not necessarily make them the best editor for your book. No shots to anybody who was the 3rd grade spelling bee champ, but just know that there is a reason that there's a thing called a professional editor. Even if it's a professor, a college professor, an English teacher, somebody who writes articles, somebody who writes for a living, just because someone has a book, that doesn't give them the qualifications. But those few titles that I just gave you, if you can find one of those and they are willing to help you, by all means, reach out and see what they can do. Next thing is the designer. The designer is the person who takes your book cover and turns it into what you want. Just because you have a vision, they understand certain things. They understand the importance of color scheme. They understand the importance of the fonts. They understand the importance of the message that the picture on the book is conveying to your reader, right? And it's I always like to go back to this example for the cover. Watch this old episode of the Cosby Show, and this was when Vanessa had just met. She had brought Dabney on, and she was so excited. She was like, "He's just great, man, and he does all this and does all that." And they finally got a chance to meet him, and so Cliff asked Dabney. He said, Dabney, he said, "What type of food you like?" He said, "You like steak?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "So I imagine you like a nice smothered steak. You can, with the steam just coming off of the steak, you got the potatoes on the side with the gravy just layered on there. You got your vegetables on the side. And so is your mouth watering yet? Are your taste buds going crazy?" And Dabney said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, imagine if I gave you this amazing meal. I took a trash can, turned it over, and put all that on top of it. If you have a horrible cover, that's exactly what you're doing. Nobody's going to pick that book up if it doesn't appeal to their eyes. It has to appeal to their eyes." What's going on, Pokey? So you have to make sure that you get a designer that understands the art and the craft of putting a great cover together. Next thing is formatting. The formatting is super, super, super duper important, because what a book is really just a series of essays inside of 2 pages, or inside of a interior and exterior cover. What your formatting is doing is making sure that the pages, the chapters are all succinct, making sure that the paragraphs are matching up, making sure that the fonts are the same size and that it is the same size. And I'm giving you this because I remember the first book that I put out. I formatted my own book and I knew nothing about formatting. So it had about it. What's going on, Eugene? There were so many different fonts in there, and so many different looks. The paragraphs were all off center. The indentation was incorrect. You want to go and find someone who professionally does this, because they're looking at your book and trying to make sure that it has a rhythm, that it has a flow, and that everything is unique to your book. The formatter can add such things as title headers. They can add the rolling headers at the very top. They can change the way that the page numbers look. They can add in those key points and make it visually appealing to the person who's watching that. These are all things that a formatter does. So again, find someone who does this, because when your book comes out, people are not just looking at the book itself. They're looking at the interior, and if it's too jumbled, some people are extreme perfectionists, and that will turn them off. You want to find somebody who can take those essays, those articles, and turn it into a physical book that looks good, interior and exterior. Next thing that we'll touch on is your support system. Your support system is going to be the people that encourage you through the process, because while you're writing, most people say, you know what, I can write my book in no time. It sounds good. I promise you it sounds good. I told my mentor, Saul Paul, I would have my first book to him in 2 weeks. It actually took me 5 years, because I was the encouragement at that point. I had things going on outside of the book that were getting in the way of me getting back to the book. So even though I had the words sitting up here, life was going on at such a fast pace for me that taking time to bring that book to fruition was not, it wasn't easy. So you got to have somebody that is encouraging you through the process. Maybe they're sending you scriptures. Maybe they're sending you encouraging words. Maybe they're calling you once a week, every 2 weeks, and saying, hey, what's going on with the book? What's going on with the project? How is it coming along? Because what that's doing is it's encouraging you, but it's also keeping you accountable. If you don't have a system of accountability in place, and if you have the wrong people around you to hold you accountable, they are not focused on helping you with your goals. They're using you to get to their goals. So make sure that your accountability system is in place. They need to be there to encourage you, to support you, but most importantly, to hold you to your deadlines, because those deadlines are what takes it from a thought into an actual reality. And so each chapter has its own deadline, and the chapter deadlines should line up with the end goal, which is the book deadline. When do you want it to come out so that you can start marketing it, so you can start editing it, so you can start pushing it? Let's talk about the marketing. Marketing is extremely important for you as a new author, because what most people have is this they have this skewed version of reality, because we've watched movies like The Best Man, where Taye Diggs' book was getting ready to come out, and everybody was like, oh man, your book is getting ready to go on Oprah. So people saw that movie and was like, oh man, that's what I want to do. They saw the movie Love Jones, where Lorenz Tate had a book, and he was joking with his people, but he was focused on getting that book out. And when it did come out, it was all over. That's not how it happens for a brand new author automatically. So you have to have people that can help you with the marketing. If you have 5 people in your corner that are constantly sharing your stuff when you post about your book, that's a good start. But you also need a marketing team to help you put up those social media posts, to create your website, to create your author sites on different social medias. I'll talk about all that on a different one, because there's way too many to actually name. They are helping you. They're helping you to get the word out and let other people know this book is coming. This book is coming. Go support my guy. Go support my girl. Make sure that you are out there with us. That is part of your marketing system, but it's so much more. I suggest, and I highly suggest, that you get in contact with a professional team that does marketing for authors. Just because they do marketing does not necessarily mean that they do marketing for authors. There is something specific that authors need that I'll go into it for you all on a completely different day, talking about all the marketing. But make sure you have a team in place that helps you to get those designs together, that helps you to get those views out there, that helps you to get the word out that you as an author are coming along. Next thing is the reviews. Why are reviews important? Reviews are important because not everybody knows who you are. And if you are going to a new restaurant, imagine your book is just like a new restaurant. If you're going to a new restaurant for the first time first thing you're going to do is look at the reviews. If you see that it has 4.5 out of 5, you're going to give it a shot. But if you see it has 1.2 out of 5, you're going to say, there's no way I'm going to get this. And if you don't see any reviews, then that means that nobody cared enough to even drop a review about how good or bad the restaurant was. So it was just kind of subpar. Your reviews, you can get those reviews through send the book to friends and family. Ask them, hey, can you do me a favor and leave me a review on Amazon? There's nothing wrong with that. Leave me a review on barnesandnobles.com. Leave me a review on goodreads.com. There's so many sites that people can leave reviews for. There's also the option of getting into different groups that specifically are there for authors to get reviews for their books. The more reviews you have, the more credibility you have. And the more credibility you have, the more likely somebody is going to pick that book up because other people have done it. People are natural leaders of themselves, but they're natural followers of the crowd. I'll say that again. People are natural leaders of themselves, but they're naturally going to follow what the crowd is doing. That's most people. Next thing is sales. You need to have people in place that can help with sales of the book. And when I say sales of the book, you want to have people that can help you get into different locations. If you are writing a book that is specific to youth, you want to have people on your team that can help you get in front of schools. You want to have people that can help you get in front of principals, that can help you get in front of superintendents. If you are doing a corporate book, you need to have people that are connected to HR, people that are connected to training, people that are connected to management in different companies, people that have, and the reason I'm saying it this way is because you're looking at volume sales, not just individual sales. Volume sales is what I'm talking about. Start looking and building your network around people that are connected to decision makers. Decision makers have larger budgets than individuals. As your friend, I may say, bro, I buy 5 books from you because I support you. That's $100. But as a person who's in a decision-making role, they may say, we got $5,000 we can spend on books. How much are your books? $20, we'll get $250. It's that simple. It isn't that simple. I'm minimizing how simple it is, but I want you to understand that the people that you surround yourself with, your circle, as they always say, your network determines your net worth. Your network determines your net worth. So get your sales team in order. If you know people that are extremely good at sales, give them an option. Listen, for every book that you sell for me, I'll give you $5. My book is $20. I give you $5 on that. I give you $2 on it. If somebody is a natural hustler and you tell them that, guess what? They're going out there to sell as many as they need, especially if they need $500 next month for rent. They're going to sell 100 books for you. It's all about the people that you surround yourself with. The last thing is the pre-launch team. Your pre-launch team is extremely important. And the reason that I say this is important is because when you're doing your launch, there are a few things that you're going to need. If you're doing a physical launch, you're going to need a venue. You're going to need possibly a DJ. You'll possibly need a caterer. You'll need the equipment, the speakers, the seats. All of these things, the decorations, all of those things go into getting your book out there successfully. The better you build your team, the easier it is going to be for you to see more and more and more sales of your book. The more successful your book will be. The bigger your goal, the bigger your team. The bigger your goal, the bigger your team. And make sure, and I beg of you, surround yourself with people that have your best interest at heart. Because these are the people that are going to take you from the level that you're at to the level that you want to be. Again, if this information was helpful to you, do me a favor, drop a like, drop a heart, drop a share, drop a comment, and share it, because what we're trying to do is help people get those books out of their heads and onto the paper so that they can help people like you. Love you guys, and I'll see y'all next time.